Hey, GoG's guide. Next video we're doing here for the looping statement unit is known as the while loop. And the while loop, not much different than the for loop, except its purpose, of course, dum-dum-dum. The while loop runs selected code in a loop as long as a certain condition is set. Now keep in mind that that's what I said every single loop does. It runs something as long as a condition is true. However, a while loop takes this statement and makes it quite literal. You see, you'd write while, same as an if statement. You put if condition, do this. The while loop, though, you just say while a certain condition is true, run the code here. So converting this to something you might recognize, if you have x is a Boolean value, and that Boolean is true, you echo hello. But if for any example, say something happened in your code, or a user clicked something on the website that changed the value of x to false, it would echo, or just wouldn't echo, it would continue, it would break, as I should say, and move on to code after that. So let me give a brief example. Say you had a website and you're trying to log in, and it lets you view pages on the website as long as it says logged in equals true. But then all of a sudden you click the login button, or you click the log out button, and the value here of x changes to false. You've logged out, you go to the logout page, you redirect, you're all good, you're all happy, you've logged out, you're safe. But then you try to view the login page again, or your profile, and it says you have to be logged in. That's because it won't let you view those pages. So if you replace this echo here with allow to visit site as long as X is true. So as long as you're logged in, allow page viewing. But if you're not, boom, keep going. And that's kind of a crummy example, considering that's really what if statements are for, to be honest. However, a while loop functions in a very similar way, except it's used for repetition, not just individual checks. Like I said, that's what loops are for. So again, I'm going to give an example of the while loop in action. You can see how it works. Alright, so I'm back, and let's show you this. As I stated just a second ago, we're going to make a new file called while.php. I'm going to open that up, save, yes sirree, open, page per tags, and we're going to do this, while, close, and let's put our echo here. Currently inside of the while looping statement. Alright, and we're going to make this our condition, or for example, let's put this value or counter up here again. I want to use the same variable names as in the for loop, so you can see how you can convert this, for example. We'll make this 5 again. Counter equals 5, and here we'll say while counter is less than. And no, I'm doing this again. I'm derping myself here a second time. There we go. While counter is less than or equal to 5. So it'll echo currently inside of the loop, or the while looping statement. Problem with this is if you were to refresh the page, like God forbid you do this, but I'll just give an example because I'm a daredevil. I'm crazy. You can't keep me safe. I'm just radical. Look at this. You're freezing everything, and you better ditch, because that's technically you're just spamming the heck out of yourself. It's going to keep running this, and if you didn't know why, or while it's doing this, the reason is that it doesn't have any action specified in the little parameters, as you should call them, for these. Whereas a for loop would say, or here, you gotta do something here, buddy, or you're gonna mess yourself up. You do like counter, plus plus, right? Well, no, you don't do that in a while loop. The point of a while loop is to put that little bit of code in here. And this may seem kind of pointless. You'd wonder, why would I do this? Why? The reason is that it's just for certain situations you'll see down the road there are little flexibility issues that you can't reach using a for loop. Or maybe there's things that you can't do with a while loop, and then you realize the for loop's there for a reason. And I'm using the word for too much as I explain it. But like I said, it took me a good year or so to pick up the concept when I was learning C++, and that's another software language though, but it has the same stuff. I could not understand why somebody would use a while loop, a for loop, and then do while, which is coming up next, and it all makes sense down the road. But you see here we have counter 0, counter adds each time. In theory this should echo, I believe, I would say 6 times. And I didn't put HTML. There's why you're supposed to put a break BR. There's a break. Make this look nice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There you go. 6 times. It worked. Woohoo. Awesome. Like I said, the same logical reasoning applies for all of these. You could put a while true or counter equals true. That kind of looks a bit odd to say counter is equal to true when it should be an integer, right? But that's self-explanatory. I just wanted you to see that if you compare the for loop from the last video and the while here, it's simply a little bit of a change in how it looks. The function in something this basic is the same thing in theory. So let's move on to the next one.